Christ followers. Christ followers in every generation. Jesus told them, as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. And if you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this, so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything I learned from my Father I've made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. And so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. This is my command. Love each other. I'm sure that most of us would like to go home sometime before supper tonight. Is that, would that be true? Okay. Well, this statement of Jesus that we have just read together would truly take hours upon hours to fully unpack. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot for us to take in. So for our time together this morning, I want to just zero in on a few key observations that are essential for us to digest. And let them be cause for reflection. Now, write this down. The heartbeat of a healthy church family is a 4-letter word. Love. The heartbeat of a healthy church family is love. With the first portion of Jesus' statement, Jesus brought clarity on the expectations he had of his followers. He told them, as we've already read, as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. Now, if you're following along in your outlines, I want you to know that there is a small but important word in that statement. If you're following along, circle the word as. A-S. Which began the verse. You see, what Jesus was asking of the disciples was nothing more than he had modeled before them for 3 years. It was a love relationship. It was love displayed for us. From the outset, Jesus set the bar of love before his disciples. As the Lord reminded them later in the passage, you did not choose me, but I chose you, and appointed you that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, and so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. As we talked about last Sunday, it was unheard of in that culture for a rabbi to seek out students to follow him. They sought him out. Most were turned away. However, Jesus came to them. He gave these unschooled blue-collar laborers the high honor of being chosen, mentored, and prepared for the highest calling imaginable. And they watched Jesus display ultimate love for God, an unwavering passion for God's purposes, and an intimate connection with the Father. They were on the receiving end themselves of love and grace when over and over they blew it. When my kids were growing up, we were serving in a church in southern Indiana. And we lived in a little town called Tennyson, Indiana, which was outside of the great burg of Boonville, Indiana. And they went to Boonville High School. And there was a saying that they had. It was called a Boonville High Five. Now, you've probably all done a Boonville high five and you didn't realize it. I can imagine Jesus was the first to really practice a Boonville high five. Can't you just see him? And as he's mixing with his disciples, he's watching them and going, how many times, how long have I been with you? Where is your faith? Again, let me teach this again. Isn't that right? How many, we talked about the sheep. How many times has Jesus done that to you? Oh, here he goes again. And over again, Jesus displayed grace. All right, guys, let's get it again. They needed to be booted, but Jesus embraced them. And he used the occasion as a teachable moment. They saw real love displayed by Jesus for society's outcasts. People broken by circumstances and crippled by failed choices. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Remain in my love. Continue it. A healthy congregation has the benefit of knowing what love looks like. They've encountered the accounts of Jesus over and over and over again. I think sometimes we simply become numb to it. We take it for granted. But love has been displayed for us. There should be no question about what love looks like. Look at Jesus. It's a question worth weighing. Are you remaining in his love? When others observe your life, when they consider your connectedness to God, your interaction with fellow believers, your response to those outside of the faith, do they see love on display? Again, the heartbeat of a healthy church family is love. Love has been displayed for us. Jesus does not stop with a call for his disciples to watch, though, this love on display and follow suit. He adds, if you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. The key word there is remain. What does Jesus mean by keep my commands? He made it clear later in the passage. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. The second observation can be made from Jesus' statement is that love directs us. How do we decide what to do as a church family? Love directs us. How do we decide what to do as we interact with other people, brothers and sisters? Love directs us. We remain in his love. And this can be a powerful indictment of a church family. Jesus looked at his disciples and valued them as individuals, created with enormous diversity of talent and passion and experience. He loved them as people with potential in grace, while not scorning them for their shortcomings. He loved them and called upon them to love each other. If love is not the mark of a local body of believers, if people do not observe love for each other within a church family, let me tell you, they will not be a part of it. They will stay away in droves. How many of you watch reruns? Oh, let's be honest. Is there any good TV still on today? What was that?
American Pickers.
American Pickers. Well, if it's on my TV, it's Counting Cars. So it's the same thing. But you go back. And there was a TV program based upon a bar. What is it? Cheers. Cheers. What was Cheers known for? What was its byline?
Everybody knows your name.
Everybody knows your name. It's a place you can go, you're being accepted. And they were not heads that sat around the bar. Weren't they? And we laughed at them. You know what they were? They were people who were family. They were accepted there. Everybody knows your name. Shouldn't that be the byline of the church? It's a place where you're loved and accepted. I'm not saying that we should belly up to the bar. But there's something we can learn from them. If it is not the mark of a local body of believers, people will just stay away. And they're not looking for a friendly place. Church, you're a friendly place. You know what they're looking for? Friends. Looking for connections. Looking for people that care. Have you ever gone into someone's home and you could feel tension? You knew that there had been, how would you want to put this? Issues at home. You walk in and going, you felt a chill in the air. Did the atmosphere compel you to hang around? Or did you look for ways to scoot out? Why would it be different within the walls of a church? The heartbeat of a healthy church family is love. Now let's go back to the description of the Jerusalem church, found in its infancy, recorded in Acts chapter 2. Let's see if we can find that compelling connection there. They shared everything with each other. In other words, they learned the first lesson you learn in kindergarten. They shared. Now, my favorite part of kindergarten was nap time, but we're not going to go there. They ate together and prayed together. Many wonders and miraculous signs were happening through the apostles. Lives were being changed. And everyone felt a great respect for God. Why? Because they saw God at work in their midst. All of the believers stayed together and shared everything. Here we got it again. They sold their land and the things they owned. Then they divided the money and gave it to those who needed it. They took care of each other. The believers shared a common purpose. And every day they spent much of their time together in the temple area. They also ate together in their homes. They were happy to share their food and ate with joyful hearts. The believers praised God and were respected by all the people, those outside the doors. And more people were being saved every day, and the Lord was adding them to their group. There was a magnetism there. These people were family, and they loved each other. They remained in the love of Christ. And friends, love directs us. If relationships are broken or strained, then nothing matters more than restoration. In his letter to the church at Philippi, Paul spent most of 4 chapters commending the church family for all it had done in support of his ministry and their presence for Christ. However, in the final chapter, Paul wrestles with a broken relationship that threatened this church family. And he called upon one of the church's members to intervene. Paul writes, "Now I appeal to Euodia and Syntyche." I even looked up how this is supposed to be said. Syntyche. Please, because you belong to the Lord, underline that line. Because you belong to the Lord, Settle your disagreement. Now let's just stop there. Paul didn't say, well, I don't care. He didn't say, oh, this one's at fault, so she needs to take care of it, or this one's at fault, she needs to take care of it. Because you belong to the Lord, because you are a part of the family, settle your disagreement. I ask you, my true partner, that's the one he's asking to intervene, to help these two women. Now, here's something to note here. For they worked hard with me in telling others the good news. Do you hear it? It is past tense. They worked along with Clement and the rest of my co-workers whose names are written in the book of life. Past tense. Their personal disagreement, their falling out, had hindered the thing that had made them effective in the first place. Settle your disagreement. You belong to the Lord. There's more important stuff going on here. God's purposes are being hindered because you two are not heads. That's Mike's translation, not Paul's. But I've been in ministry for over 30 years, folks. And Lizzie, you and I have seen it all. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. When there's struggles in a church family, when there's relationships that are broken, it begins to pollute the positives. And the church family gets weighed down from doing the things that God has called us to be and do. Love has been displayed for us. Love directs us. And it doesn't matter who is at the origins of division, restoration is on both parties. Because the purposes of God far outweigh these temporary problems. Well, thirdly, Jesus told his disciples that there's a payoff for people who love. Love pays dividends. He said, I've told you this so that my joy may be in you, that your joy may be complete. When God's people are people who live a life of love, something beautiful transpires in their lives. This is not speaking of the ebb and flow of happiness that comes amid changing circumstances, but something far deeper. This is joy, a sense of satisfaction and peace that is not shaped by situation, but in the substance of the relational condition Jesus has described. At home in relationship with God and with others. When God's people are out of sorts in their relationship with God, there's contention within. We were created for relationship with Him. David decried this broken condition when he penned the words of Psalm 51, saying, restore to me the what? Joy of your salvation, and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. God, I want our relationship to be right. Because, man, I'm miserable outside of that. I was created